Some time ago, I noticed that AliExpress offers quite a few interesting coffee drippers that are basically clones of other very popular designs. For example, you can buy a Hario Switch clone in several different variations, or a clone of the B75 dripper, which is exactly what this video is about. This one is made by a brand called Havmore. The name might sound familiar, let's just say it's not a coincidence. In this video, I'm going to test this dripper and compare it directly with the V60. Let's get started. The design of this dripper is very similar to the B75. Its main feature is the flat bottom, and the wall angle is set at 75 degrees, just like in the original B75. The dripper is made of plastic and comes in two versions. Black, which is slightly translucent, and fully transparent. I don't have exact information on whether it's made from Triton or a different type of plastic. There's no such information on the packaging either. What I can say for sure is that the plastic feels thick. Definitely thicker than on a typical V60. In my opinion, it actually looks really nice. The walls of this dripper follow the same distinctive design as the B75. According to the manufacturer, there are 20 concave guide grooves along the walls, which help guide the water and stabilize the flow rate. On top of that, both the upper and lower parts of the dripper feature staggered supporting edges. At the bottom, there are 10 upper and lower staggered edges, designed to support the filter paper more evenly and keep it properly in place during brewing. I bought this dripper together with a pack of 50 white paper filters. They are shaped specifically to match the walls of this dripper. The filters are made from raw wood pulp, and according to the manufacturer, they are environmentally friendly, non-toxic, and safe to use. The filters are quite thin. I actually feel like they're even thinner than the standard Hario V60 filters. Personally, I think they could be just a bit thicker, but overall I didn't have any real issues using them. Sometimes they didn't fit the dripper perfectly and I had to adjust them slightly, but that's also a matter of practice. Hey! If you find my content helpful, you can support the channel by subscribing and leaving a like on this video. Thank you! For this comparison, I'm using a V60 size 01, since both drippers are designed for brewing 1 to 2 cups. I'm using light roasted beans from Colombia. It's a more classic flavor profile with dominant notes of hazelnuts, sugar, orange and apple. Because the Havmore dripper has a flat bottom, it requires a much finer grind. On the Starseeker E55 Pro grinder, I grind at setting 33 for the V60, while for the Havmore I go down to 23. Of course, I'm talking about grind levels for the pour-over range, which means in the case of this grinder, I had to make a full 360-degree rotation of the adjustment. For both drippers, I'm trying to use the exact same recipe and brewing time, around 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm using 16 grams of beans at a 1:16 ratio, which gives about 256 grams of brewed coffee in each case. Before brewing, I rinse the filters with hot water so they stick properly to the drippers. After adding the ground coffee, I gently shake the drippers to level out the coffee bed. I start with roughly a 30-second bloom, using around 50 grams of water. Then I do 3 pours, first up to 115 grams, then up to 180 grams, and finally up to 256 grams. While the coffee is dripping through the dripper, you can see that with the Havmore dripper, more coffee particles stick to the walls compared to the V60, which has a conical design. The V60 extraction took a bit longer than I initially expected, but that wasn't really an issue. I noticed that the brew from the V60 is more fruity. The nutty notes are less pronounced and the acidity is slightly higher. If you're a fan of bright fruity coffee, the V60 is still a great choice. The brew from the Havmore dripper feels more rounded. It's less fruit-forward and leans more toward nutty and cocoa-like flavors. The acidity is slightly lower, but overall the differences aren't huge. If you prefer a more classic cup with a richer body, this dripper might be the better option for you. This is what the coffee bed looks like in each of these drippers. Cleaning the Havmore Dripper is really easy. Simply throw away the coffee filter and then rinse the dripper under running water. You can also use some detergent if needed. To sum things up, the Havmore Dripper feels like an interesting B75 clone and definitely an alternative to the V60 that's worth considering, especially if you're looking for a more rounded, slightly less fruit-forward pour-over. The build quality is actually quite good, although I would really like to know what exact material it's made from. What are your experiences with different drippers? Have you tried the Havmore Dripper or maybe the original B75? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.